Hello, welcome back to our math review. So today we're going to start with the number 27. So right now pause it and make the tens and ones and decide if it's odd or even. Go. Alright, so our number is 27. We have 2 tens and we have 7 ones. And then I'm going to group my ones into pairs. And then the last one doesn't have a pair, so that means our number is odd. Now remember, looking at 27, we're going to move on to our hundreds, tens, and ones. So now using the number 27, fill in the hundreds, tens, and ones. Now, go. Alright, so we have no hundreds in 27, so we're just going to put an X in that. We have 2 tens, and we have 7 ones. Now using this information, we're going to move into expanded form. So using the number 27, we're going to write it in expanded form. So pause the video and do that now. Go. And let's look back. We need to remember we have 2 tens. What does 2 tens equal? We'll count by tens. 10, 20 plus the 7 ones. So 20 plus 7 equals 27. Now looking at 27, we have our minus 10, plus 10, minus 1, plus 1. Pause the video and do that now. Alright, so let's go into it. Our number 27, we're going to start the minus 10. So we're taking a 10 away from 27, so we have 2 tens. We take 1 10 away, and we have 1 10 left. And then the ones stay the same. So 27 minus 10 equals 17. 27 plus 10. So we had 2 tens. We add another 10. We have 3 tens. The ones stay the same. 27 plus 10 more equals 37. 27 minus 1. So we keep the tens the same. We're looking at the ones place, which we have a 7. 7 minus 1 equals 6. So 27 minus 1 equals 26. Now we're going to do 27 plus 1. The 10s stay the same because we're focusing on the ones. 7 plus 1 more equals 8. So 27 plus 1 equals 28. Now we're looking at missing numbers, so pause the video now and complete the 3 equations to find the number patterns for 8. Go. Alright, so let's go over this. 2 plus blank equals 8. 2 plus 6 equals 8. Blank plus 5 equals 8. 3 plus 5 equals 8. 8 plus blank equals 8. 8 plus 0 equals 8. Moving on to balance both sides. So we have 8 plus 1. What does 8 plus 1 equal? And then you're going to write another equation that will make the same on both sides. So do that now. Pause the video and do that now. Go. Alright, so 8 plus 1 equals 9. And I am just going to do the reversal like I've done in the other videos. So I'm just going to reverse 8 plus 1, and that's going to equal 9. You could have used another equation to make 9 as well. You didn't have to use the reversal. That's just what I chose to do. Alright, moving on. Now we have our fact family. So we have the part, whole. So fill in the fact families to adding equations into subtraction equations. Do that now. Pause the video and do that now. Go. Alright, so let's go through this. I'm going to start with my part numbers to get to my whole for my adding, and then I will use my whole number and the subtraction because it's a larger. So let's start with the adding. 5 plus 10 equals 15. 10 plus 5 equals 15. And then when we do our subtraction, we're starting with the larger number. 15 minus 5 equals 10. 15 minus 10 equals 5. And now moving on to our whole part. So remember, we need to take our two whole numbers to put them together to make our two part numbers to put them together to make our whole number. And you can add those using our adding equation to solve your whole and then do your subtraction. So do that now, pause the video and do that. Alright, so let's take our two parts. 10 plus 6. 10 plus 6 equals 16. 16 is our whole number, so we're going to use our whole number for our subtraction. And then you choose one of the parts. I will choose the 6 today. 16 minus 6 equals 10. Now moving on to our greater than, less than, or equal. So pause the video and complete the 3 problems. Go. Alright, so let's go into this. We have 48 and 46, so I touch the 10s. I notice that they both have 4 10s, so I jump to the 1s. I notice that the 48 has more 1s than 46. So I read it, 48 is greater than 46. Going on to 32 and 23, so I touch the 10s. There are 3 10s in 32. There are 2 10s in 23. 3 10s is greater. So the way we'll read this, 32 is greater than 23. And then we have 101. So remember, we could put a lot of zeros in front of the 1, but it still is only 1. So the 100 is greater than 1. 100 is greater than 1. Alright, so we have the numbers 7, 19, 3, and 16. I want you to put them in order from smallest to largest, and pause the video and do that now. Go. Alright, so let's go in to looking at the numbers. So we have a 7, there's no 10s, 1 10 and 19, 3 has no 10s, and 16 has a 1 in the 10 spot. So we're going to take the two numbers that have no 10s, just 1s. We have 7 and 3. 3 is smaller than 7, so 3 will go first. And then we'll move on to the 7. And then we're looking at the teens. So we have our 19 and our 16. They both have a 1, so we jump to the 10s. 6 is smaller than 9, so 16 goes next. And then 19 is last. Now looking at our fractions, I would like you to pause the video and cut the shapes into the correct fraction and then color them in the correct way. So do that now. Go. Alright, so let's start with our circle. We are going to cut it into thirds, 3 equal pieces. And once again, you're just trying to make them as equal as you can. And then I'm going to color in 3 of those thirds. And when I color in, when the top number and the bottom number are the same, we call that the whole. So we colored in the whole circle. The whole circle. Now we're looking at a rectangle. We're going to cut it into 2 equal halves. We're going to color in 2 halves. And when the top and the bottom are the same, we colored in the whole shape. The whole shape. Now once again, we're looking at the time. And we're working on having that minute hand at the 6, the long minute hand at the 6, which when it's at the 6, we're going to write that 30. And then we have to decide which number is for the hour because it's going to be between 2 numbers. So let's go right here. We're in the blue. We see that the hour hand is between the 3 and the 4. So which number are we going to write? So let's look at the clock and see which zone we would be in. So do that now and see if you can write the correct time. Is it going to be 3:30 or is it going to be 4:30? And the correct time is 3:30. So remember, once you're in that zone, we went a little past the 3, we still are in the 3 zone. We cannot be at 4 until we actually touch that 4 down here. And then here are 4 of the double digit adding with the multiple of 10. So I want you to pause them and do those. You can either do them the long way or the short way that you've seen on my other video. So do those now. Alright, so I'm going to go through these. You should have already worked them out on a paper or somewhere else. And we are going to go through these quickly. So 36 plus 50 is 86. 15 plus 20 is 35. 24 plus 30 is 54. And 43 plus 40 is 83. Alright, thank you so much for joining me for my math review. See you tomorrow.